Good evening. Welcome to Hotmess Issues Today, the hit. Please like, follow, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Today, I have on the drug mask, and the topic is Johnson and Johnson and all of those lawsuits. So, of course, Johnson and Johnson was found guilty of not letting customers and consumers know about the asbestos in their talcum powder. And so a lot of, people, especially women, died of cancer, ovarian cancer, and all of that. And then eventually they finally settled. But, you know, Johnson and Johnson, they have this medication that they charge $427 per capsule, you know, and, that's in the United States. That medication made over $22 billion. And Johnson and Johnson's overall profit um, for last year was 65 billion. So that one medication was a third of their profit margin. Now, the crazy part is now that same medication, Americans paid 3, 4, 5 times the price that is sold overseas, like in Europe or the UK. So a medication made here, we have to pay 3, 4, 5 times as much as customers overseas. Now, typically, that's the other way around. Why should we be paying more for something that was made here? Why don't they pay more to have it over there? But, you know, it's like until, somebody complain, nobody knows what's going on. But, of course, Johnson and Johnson know what's going on. So, they end up going to, once they found they were found out what they were doing. So they got called before Congress, and they do all of these crazy things. So they set up another kind of a shell company to run things out of, and then they filed for bankruptcy, to try to protect themselves and protect the assets. And, Congress wasn't having it, and this type of setup is called a Texas two-step. A whole bunch of companies, have done it. Companies continue to try to do it, and some get away with it, but they didn't allow Johnson and Johnson to get away with it. But that's the game. Now, 22 billion, and say they settled, or the court made them pay 700 million. What is that over 22 out of 22 billion? That's pennies, but that's what these companies do. That's what American companies do. And that's why we in the situation we're in now with inflation and all of these crazy prices, because all of these companies and large companies and owners and the top 1% of Americans with the money, they are unethical. they have no integrity. They have more money, more assets than can be spent, in 10 lifetimes, in 20 generations, but it's still never enough, and it's not enough to, do things with some ethic, moral process. And I think they just get used to at one point. I think it's not even about the money. They are challenged, and they get their inspiration and motivation by what they can get away with next. That's the challenge. They probably would be just as unethical if the payoff was a penny. They get the charge out of, how can I cheat and get away with the next thing? And if I know he did it, can I beat him? He got away with this. Let me see if I can get away with this plus that. you know. And I think that's, where it goes. And the same process, even with insurance companies and manufacturers, when they know a product is damaged or, not working the way it's supposed to, they keep doing it and selling it and using it until market goes down. Then they decide, when they get caught and they've already counted the beans. Well, we made 65 billion. Okay, so we go to court and we settle out of court for 100 million. But in the meantime, 300 people died, you know, and 200 people crippled, and, children, damaged and all of that. But, their loss is 100 million, which on top of making 65 billion is pennies, and so that's how they operate, instead of, you know, having some integrity and doing the right thing. And so I would imagine that the next thing Johnson and Johnson will do is sell, and whoever buys them, their argument is that happens before we took over, so we're not responsible. And then the previous owners, their argument is going to be, well, we no longer own it, so it's not our responsibility. Yep. Hey, that's the way of business. This has been Hot Mess Issue Today, the hit. Please like, follow, and subscribe to my YouTube channel.